Fuji Sports. Listen, they've been working with us for a while now. Particularly, they've been supporting and sponsoring this show for over a year. And they have some cool stuff going on their website, don't they?
They always have cool stuff. Amazing gear. Anything you would need for your jiu-jitsu journey, you can find at fujisports.com. But just scrolling through right now, apparel, obviously, gis, bags, anything you could possibly ask for, you can find at fujisports.com.
Hey, it's been a while since we started RŌL TV project.
It's been a while since you started it. I did come in later, and I can't say enough about it, especially the new platform. It's really amazing, fully customizable, and you know a little bit more about the structure.
Well, so two things you need to know. One is the subscription service, which is $9 a month. You can get access to hundreds of videos, hundreds of drills, techniques, and so on in a very nice library categorized as you need them. But two, different lessons. You can actually purchase those individually and you own them. So the subscription is not tied to it at all. You can look at things like spider guard, half guard sweeps, half guard chokes, folding pass, and so on. There's so many of them out there. So take a look and see where you need help with the videos, right? 30%. If you type in RŌL Radio as a code.
Who doesn't like saving money? Go to RŌLAcademy.tv. What's up, everyone, and welcome back. If you haven't already, please remember to hit the like, share, subscribe, download, listen, and whatever other button there is, and leave us a review wherever you do listen. That ensures that we can continue bringing you the great guests and amazing content that you have come to expect. Today's guest has been a major influence in jiu-jitsu in the United States, starting back in the mid-1990s. Not only did he open one of the first academies on the East Coast, but he has trained under and with some of the biggest names in the sport. The Machado brothers, Marcello Garcia, Team Alliance, and Checkmat, just to name a few. Professor Fabio Clemente joins us to share his journey from his first training days in Brazil, how he became one of the first instructors in New York City, his love for competition, and his recovery from a recent major surgery. Here's the RŌL Radio with the owner-instructor of Studio X Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and former IBJJF Pan American Masters champion, Fabio Clemente.
Welcome to RŌL Radio.
And we're live.
Here we go.
Gary, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Yes?
Hey, listen, before we talk about it, hold on.
What? Uh-oh.
We got this.
Uh-oh. What did we get?
Well, we got this from a good friend of ours, and Fit Dad.
Oh, no.
Fit Dad. I'm putting this to camera. Fit Dad right there. But it's I want to give a shout out to Deman because he sent us, this is a surprise. I didn't expect this, but he sent us some cookies, and this guy's phenomenal. First of all,
he is.
He's a fitness freak. So that's one, and that's a compliment. But a second thing is he does phenomenal baking goods. Like
yes,
he bakes cookies, cakes, and all that. So I want you to go and look him up. If you don't know, if you're not familiar with his stuff, go to Fit Dad. He does a lot of stuff on Instagram.
On Instagram, yeah.
And you can actually purchase his stuff. So a little unexpected plug here.
Yeah, his stuff is great. He dropped off a month or so ago. He dropped off some cookies.
What you got cookies?
I gave you one. I shared.
I'm pretty sure
I might not look like I shared, but I shared. And no, his stuff is fantastic, and it's geared towards people who are trying to be fit. So, and he does a great job with it.
You ate
so
extra, didn't you?
I did not.
Oh,
I did not.
I'm doubting that.
I only overeat in secret and hiding. All right, let's get to this.
We have Professor Fabio Clemente in the house. Welcome. Thanks for spending some time with us and chatting about jiu-jitsu. How are things going for you? How is life so far?
Hi guys, how are you doing? Thank you very much for having me here. Yeah, life so far so good. Yeah, so far so good. Going just recover for a big knee surgery, and I hope to be back on the mats like maybe a couple months. Yeah.
Is that your first major surgery, or there were a few?
No, I did an arthroscopic surgery like meniscus. Like 17 years ago, and I have bow legs, so like cowboy legs, so and that aggravated a lot with time and age and use. And I met this doctor in Brazil, really good doctor, and everybody, my knee was condemned to be do a knee replacement for every physical therapist, every doctor. And then the guy said, listen, you have a chance like to not do a knee replacement. We're gonna cut your tibia off, straight up your leg one millimeter this way, and you're gonna have a straight leg and hope you don't need any replacement. And I did it. It's pretty scary because they just chop your tibia, put a plate there, and and then it's painful. Recovery is painful because your body gotta adjust to the new alignment. But I'm getting there. It's improving now.
So how long has it been since the procedure?
4 months now.
4 months now.
Yeah, I'm squatting and doing things. I don't have completely back my flexibility. I work on that. Takes time. I think it'll be for a good thing. Now in the bow leg, on the left leg is still bow leg, so I need to wear a little pad, pad when you walk. But looks like I taught my first class yesterday after 4 months. I was showing a technique for 4 months.
And how did it go?
How did it go? How was the first time after 4 months?
Yeah, it was interesting. I did it for my daughter. I chose actually a position I couldn't affect much my knee. I was like passing the spider guard and things like that, and it was okay. It was not bad. I feel good. But no, I'm still doing physical therapy. I need to recover the full extension of the leg, because it was a complicated surgery. It's not easy, no. I hope like I'll be walking without pain and training again, maybe like 2-3 months maximum. Yeah.
Share with us what was your mental approach to this? Jiu-Jitsu is a physical sport. Injuries, unfortunately, they do happen. Sometimes they are more serious, as what you're describing in a moment. I mean, I personally had 4 knee surgeries, over past 20 years as I've been doing Jiu-Jitsu. And it's hard, at least for me personally, it's very hard to not do Jiu-Jitsu. Even when I'm sitting and helping, it's so hard. What was your mental approach, knowing that you have to go into this, knowing that recovery is going to be long and hard, and some of these obstacles? What's going through your mind?
It's really hard, so my knee never going to be the same it was before. It will be like I maybe walk without pain. This is going to limit my guard. I don't have the same flexibility I have like before. I usually put my foot behind my head. Maybe now people do 2 steps and pass my guard. So you gotta be prepared for that. Mentally prepared, to go backwards in Jiu-Jitsu, kind of like was you some position you cannot do anymore like before, no? Especially my age, I'm 56 now, going to be 57. So now the age, these injuries and it's tough, it's hard in mind, you don't want to be smashed. I don't like to be smashed. I don't know if somebody likes Jiu-Jitsu, but I don't like, so when I go train somebody, I'm not going to get smashed. It's not like I'm all happy, boss of the world,
Well, a lot of people would find that this moment that you are in right now as a moment that they can quit, that they can walk away and say, I'm done with this. I'm not going to be able to bend in a direction. I'm not going to be as flexible. Matter of fact, the whole game that I had now actually might go away. That's a lot of work. It's just not worth it. What do you say to that?
But some people, it's not, man. I'm involved in Jiu-Jitsu since 1983, and I have a gym in New York since 1995, and that's my main income now I have is there. So I gotta keep going. I can't stop. It's not even an option to stop. And then I get looking for my core belt. Maybe try to play until a core belt. I have another 6 years, 7 years, 6 years to go. So and I love the sport. It's an addiction. I know Jiu-Jitsu is an addiction. You start doing you start wrestling people, using techniques and tap people bigger than you, stronger than you, younger than you, and there's a rush adrenaline come. Feels good. It's not the best thing when you get injured and you recover and you train and you tap somebody. It's not a description of how we feel good. No.
So it must feel good to be back on the mat. It must feel good to start teaching again.
Show a position here that I'm not really back fully. I cannot spar right now. I really cannot put myself in a position something going to happen. People try De La Riva this leg or he'll hook my leg. I can't take that now. I got to wait to build more muscle, reinforce, get more flexibility. Maybe I'll try that again. For example, I compete my two last competitions, like one was like 2010, now the one's 2015, 5 years apart, because it just injured and it's hard to do it. Maybe I'll have another one, maybe 2023, 2024, if I recover well with this knee. No, I love to go back compete again. I don't have a world title yet. I just have Pan American title, so I'm seeking for maybe a world title before it's over.
You're planning a strong comeback with new legs, and you're gonna destroy everybody.
If it's possible,
He's gonna have a whole new game.
I'll feel good. I'll feel good for that.
I got a question. Thomas and I were talking recently about like retirement and when people retire, not just from jiu-jitsu, but from whatever they've been doing, how they kind of go into a dark place sometimes, a sad place. They don't have any more motivation. What has kept you motivated through these challenges? Is it just the addiction, or is there something else that has you looking towards the future?
Motivated, I feel like I say, my history of jiu-jitsu is kind of start different than it is right now. Right now, I'm totally dependent on jiu-jitsu because I have a gym and I need to pay my mortgage, pay my bills, and I need to have class. I need to have students coming to my gym, So it's a necessity for me right now. And that's a motivation too. Also, the feeling that I like jiu-jitsu a lot. I love the sport. I see these things growing through time. Span to Europe and United States, and that's pretty much it's pretty simple. Yeah, that's my motivation. Like physically, I don't think jiu-jitsu is the best for your body. Like for example, it's all the sports maybe you can do, like you avoid injuries, and be fit and healthy and happy, and have fun too. Like if you play volleyball, you can have some injuries, but less risk than jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu is like I say, it's an addiction. When you start doing this, it's really good. Really good when you do well. If you don't do well, you don't want to stay in this game for longer. People will do well at least for a short period of time or something. Yeah, that's my view. Yeah.
What do you think is so addicting about jiu-jitsu? If you had to narrow down to one or two things, what stimulates us?
The possibility to control somebody on the ground, control somebody, don't get control. That stuff, I don't know, for me, is the best thing that can jiu-jitsu. Also, I talk about when you compete, when you train, besides the friendship and people you meet in the gym, the social part, the lifestyle. But when you do jiu-jitsu, you're able to control somebody and make sure somebody cannot control you on the bottle, and you have answers for every move you try to do. That stuff is great. It's a great feeling.
Let's pivot this all the way to the beginning. Your story is very, very interesting. I'm really interested to hear from your perspective. How did this all start? Do you remember your very first class, the very first time you stepped on the mat?
Yeah, I remember that. It was in Copacabana, the Figueiredo de Magalhães. Carlos Gracie used to have a gym there. Carlos Gracie, the guy who owns the IBJJF. And I think it was right after his brother died, Horst died. And he was not teaching class. It was the Machado brothers used to be there. And I met a Riga Machado, very young, very lean. Was one of the best competitors. He was one of the instructors there. It was him, his brother, Carlos Machado, who is in Dallas now. Mm-hmm. They both run the class, and they're super friendly. Then my partner's training was Jean-Jacques Machado, was a blue belt, same time than me, and João Machado and Roger was a purple belt. And I met this family. I didn't know they're not Gracie or Gracie. I thought they're all Gracie at the time. Only the Gracie is a black belt for me when I started jiu-jitsu. And I become really friends with Higa, so I invited him to his house, and I met the family, the mother, and introduced him to the diet, to the Gracie diet, and they really catch me even more, the diet that you were really into the diet and jiu-jitsu. So that's really started. Yeah.
Did you know what jiu-jitsu was before you came for the very first time?
Yeah, I did judo when I was 9.
Oh.
But I heard about jiu-jitsu, but not much. I used to do RŌL, crew. I used to do crew for Brazil, for Flamengo, for the soccer team too.
Yeah.
I used to roll Pan American championship, nationals, many tournaments there. And I met one of my friends, he's a Corbel now, both are Corbel, Ricardo Americano. Ricardo, I don't know if you know him, Ricardo Americano. He's in Florida now, but he's going back to Brazil. And he's a black belt from Carlos Gracie too. And he was a model, and a model a little bit when I was like 17, 18. And I met him in some auditions. And one day, like walking in Ipanema with him, and I met another friend called Harold McDowell, who was a Corbel too. And Harold said, "Oh, big guy, why you don't, strong guy, come do jiu-jitsu, and give him an address, for the gym in Figueiredo de Magalhães." And I show up there and I take a class for here, and I become like an addiction after that. Then I quit RŌL and started jiu-jitsu.
So from the first class, you were hooked. I was
hooked. I could not believe like these little guys that triangle me, my arm bar me, and I was super fit. I was like about almost 200 pounds, and I was young. I was like 18, and I used to RŌL. I used to run half marathon every weekend. Like imagine a guy 100 pounds run half marathon every weekend, RŌL, and RŌL is a tough sport. Doing weights and circle training. I was super shape. And I'll pick it up like people like lift up there. Back in the day, it was like allowed to slam. Yeah. So I clear lots of triangles and bars by slamming people like back then, because it was for me just pick it up and boom, hit on the ground. It was different times. And
the mats were very different back then than they are now.
Oh yeah,
they were much thinner, weren't they?
the mats at the time was like terrible. Like I was my first injury. I broke my pinky going between the mats and cracked my pinky. It was like separated a little bit, and then it was like the hard canvas with a little straw bale or something underneath. Like very traditional. And it was super hard and stinky, and nobody washed the gis. It was different. Everybody had those almost gray gis of dirt.
Yeah, we've had few guests who talked about some of the old school gyms way back in Brazil, and they were saying you were approaching the academy and you could smell.
Yeah.
It was just very unique experience. Do you think what's the biggest differences that you see between then and now? Like if you look at your very first class and what very first class looks like to your students.
Oh, it's totally different now. My God, it's like totally different, because we used to repeat the same techniques over and over and over, like 3-4 techniques. And now it's like white belts know so much right now. They get so much information. The process to learn also like facilitate them a lot, I think. So the gyms are much cleaner, like much organized, like it's a professional level now. Before then, even the greats, some of them like jiu-jitsu, some of them have as a second job, or they have a side job to make money in jiu-jitsu. You see this in the family a lot, the Grace family. Now it's like it's a golden time to learn jiu-jitsu. There's like gyms everywhere, there's competitions all the time, and very organized, very efficient. I think when jiu-jitsu come to the United States, like really, I think organize jiu-jitsu a lot. Become more professionalized, and I think it's a big improvement for the sport.
Is that a good thing or bad thing? Because there are some instructors who like this very free-flowing, unorganized ways, and there are some who are extremely organized. What's your view on that? Is that benefiting students?
I think benefit the students a lot. Yeah, benefit the students. I think so. Sometimes, yeah. For example, for me, it's hard like to. Some class, I have been debating the class, a mixed level class, just beginner class. Like, before just one class. When I start just one class, white belt come in, everybody gonna beat you up. If you can resist the beat and you come back next day, you're tough and stay at the gym, and you're gonna be good, And that's what pretty much kind of happened to me. Everybody beat me up the first time I was there, and I said, okay, I need to know this. Now jiu-jitsu is a little different too. In a way, it's a little more softer. It was hard back in the days, for the smell, for the condition of the gym, for like no showers, like everything, like and the rules also, and the rules it was like less rules now. Like we don't nobody talk about ripping the knee and stuff like that. I was like, okay, do it, slam, the thing. If the jiu-jitsu kept their way, it's not going to be that popular as today, because we don't have like girls come, we're going to be scared to be there. Also people like, executive men, like, maybe like some businessmen want to try jiu-jitsu just self-defense, they're going to be scared to do this. Because it was kind of scary gym before, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, even when I was starting 20 some years ago, it was similar to what you're describing. Either you survived or you quit. Like there was no in between. You had to fight to really you had to love fighting. Like it was not even jiu-jitsu, like the fight, the being smashed. It really was often a survival mode for new students versus today, you know, almost anybody is able to try at least, and they can decide on their own whether it's good or bad, right?
No, and I think also everybody now is concerned about it. Nobody want to get the students to get hurt. The students get hurt, they quit the gym, and you have less income. So it's very careful that people don't get hurt. You know, and position to especially now that I don't have. I think it's my computer doing this. Like,
yeah, it's all right. Don't worry about it. It's no problem.
How I turn this off? I don't know how to turn this off. I think I got to turn the volume off with doing a heat guy. But anyway, it's kind of. I'm very concerned about like people get hurt in the gym. No, most of the time I don't have the training for this past month, so I've been watching a lot. You know, people like training, they roll on top of each other by mistake, or a guy, or sometimes you have a guy who go really hard against a weaker guy. So got to be watching this. You know, it's like I say, it's a different times before, like, you know, Carlos Gracie, they don't give a, you just go, the strongest survive. That was a different story. Yeah. But I think it's better for the sport and for the popularity of the sport, and more people going to learn, because before, if you're just a tough guy, you learn. If you're not tough, like, you be scared, you get out of there. And sometimes the guy, maybe the guy in the past who comes to the gym and will take a class and leave, now will stay in the class and they have a chance maybe to be a world champion. You know, because you learn with time. They have to give it time for him to learn and experience and build confidence and learn combination technique to be good, also to be a very good jiu-jitsu player. You know?
Yeah, and then you can we can talk about different genders. Like, I mean, females way back in the day. I don't know. I guess that's a question for you. Were there any females training jiu-jitsu back then? Or?
No, don't even come close there. I never see a female when I was training there, but I guess some trained, but no. Back in the days, no.
Yeah, and
I remember the first time I see females competing, it was like terrible. Like, you see the quality of the techniques. It was like everything was kind of so sloppy. Now you see, like, I see the girls fighting is amazing. Like, there's no change, no difference between men and women fight. The technical aspect I talk about, you know, they're like, they're really good. I see for my daughter now competing, like, it's amazing. I see her competing.
Yeah, and I mean, from personal experience, Gary knows here, we had few females who first class, they are like, I don't want to touch sweaty guys and all that, and then a year or 2 years later, they are literally like destroying half of the guys.
And that doesn't even like bring in the consideration kids classes. I don't know, you know, back in the 80s when you started, were there even kids classes, or were there just kids like hanging on? You know, and then I know,
I don't really remember that. I don't remember the kid. I think they have, man. I didn't participate in any kids class. No, I was just going for my hour there, boom, get out of that training. You know, then I think they do have, man. I don't remember exactly. You know, but they have probably. Yeah.
So how is your journey unfolds? You're starting this, you know, in 80s. You go through it. At which point this jiu-jitsu thing is like sticking? You get better at this. You feel that you actually got this. You start competing. When was your first competition?
I was a white belt. Back in the days, white belts don't compete, and no white belts are allowed to compete. Just blue belt up.
Yeah.
And I was a competitor for rowing, and I say it was a competition in Niterói, run by Marcello Garcia. And Higa and everybody went there to compete, and I see my partners go there to compete. I say, I want to compete too. So give the blue belt, take the blue belt, go compete. That's why I got my blue belt. And I jump into the competition, like, knowing 3-4 moves only.
How did that go?
I beat the guy in the beginning, but then in the beginning I was like winning mountain, but then I was too rushed to armbar. I didn't have experience. The guy reversed and passed my guard and mounted me too. So I ended up by losing, but not tapping. I lost for the same amount of points. He ended up on top of me. But then some other competitors started winning too. I got a sponsor, and the first guy to get sponsors. So I got some patch on my gear. I was like one of the first ones to get sponsored in Brazil. Yeah, it was a fun time. Yes, I compete a lot. Huh?
For a moment, go back to that first match. I want to ask you something. So, okay, so you were a white belt. White belts don't compete. You get your blue belt to compete, right?
To compete, yeah.
And then you guess out. You technically, you lose the match essentially. What's your feeling now? Because you just got your blue belt to compete and didn't go according to plan.
I think it was crazy. It was crazy now thinking about like what I did. Because I was competing rowing a lot. So I want to compete. I always want to compete. So, and then I say, I want to compete. I say, okay, go compete shop at that time. The competition started at the time. And the competition before was so disorganized. You arrive in the morning, sometimes you'll fight. It was like late on. You don't have time. It was like no... It was crazy. It was crazy competition. And it was fun. I did very well in the beginning. I thought they were going to kill the guy. It was a double leg on top, mountain. Then I rushed for the armbar and everything was down the drain.
Isn't it sometimes, this is the interesting part in Jiu-Jitsu, at least my view, is that one simple moment can literally turn things upside down, and that match could end completely opposite direction as you were thinking.
Sometimes 1 inch to the wrong side is over.
Yeah, it's like I often talk about this with my students. Is like Jiu-Jitsu is game of inches. 1 inch too far to the left, you get swept. 1 inch too much to the right, you don't succeed. Inch too much forward, you get submitted. If you were too passive by 1 inch, literally, you won't pass the guard. It's all about that leverage in between these positions and these transitions. Precisions of those transitions so important. Would you find it similar?
Yeah, I find it similar. Sometimes, most of the time, people lose because they make mistakes, not because the guy did something crazy. Everybody sometimes defend right, but sometimes you like doing the right thing. People lose patience. And because it's getting difficult to pass, they lose patience, try something difficult, here go, they get swept, And I'm just like stick to the plan, stick what you're doing. It's about experience too. The more time you spend on the mat, doesn't matter how many teachers you have, how many classes you take. My time on the mat is the best teacher. You start taking time, experience a different body, different reaction, or some people are more passive aggressive, more aggressive, and I think experience is really important on this, and then it is a good choice to make a wrong choice, You gotta be certain. Then even if you're like inside the guard, you can open the guard, but you're doing everything right. Don't try to do anything different because you might get swept.
Yeah,
you gotta be patient. Patience sometimes.
You have to be patient. Yeah, you have to be patient, and these choices are really, really important, right?
The timing too. You got to things in the right time. It doesn't matter. You learn the best techniques, but you don't apply at the right time. It's not going to work.
You talk about experience. Let me ask you this. Sometimes we meet individuals who love jiu-jitsu. They love technique. They get stimulated. They love to think about jiu-jitsu, but they are very hesitant of sparring. And often that comes from perhaps their age or perhaps their profession, whatever the case is, there's hesitance behind that. What do you say to those students? How do you convince them to put themselves in that vulnerable position and get into that, well, let's be honest, fighting mode? Like you have to solve this while things are happening.
Yeah, that's a lot of students like this today. Lots of people train jiu-jitsu don't get involved in competition. Competition, it's kind of, I don't know if you guys compete, but it's an adrenaline rush. People get nervous. You think about it. People react different. Some people are very calm. And I see all kinds of students. I see students who those terrible in the gym, when it comes to the competition, become animals. And some people who like cured by the gym come to the competition, freeze completely. You can't recognize them on the mat. My suggestion: everybody should try at least once to compete. I think it would be good. Like even if you go there and get your ass kicked, you gotta try once, to see what it's about. And also the preparation, the mindset to compete, we're gonna help him to improve his jiu-jitsu so much. I see that I see that a lot. People, we're gonna compete, and they decide to compete. They see the improvement. But it's amazing how they improve because they really focus and they think more about it. But there's a lot of people today like this. They love technique, they drill techniques, and they do the gym, and they don't want to go to the real thing. No, okay, that's the competition. Boom. Combate. You don't want to see the combate, and people watch that. They feel like nervous, everybody's different. No? I respect this now. No, it's just jiu-jitsu times we live right now is like this. No, some people who open gyms, they train, they never compete before. You know, but they're good. They're good instructors. No, I mean they're not bad instructors. No.
What is about that adrenaline rush for you particularly when you competed in the past? Like what drives you for it?
I think that right now less than before. I'm kind of, but before competition was everything for me. I want to compete in everything. You know, I grew up like this. My father trained also for Carson Gracie. My father's a soccer coach, volleyball, swimming, do all kinds of sports. So I grew up with that mentality. I want to compete or win or first and stronger. You know, I grew up like that a little bit. So that was like driving a lot. Now it's less. You know, now I did a lot of things and concerned about my body, you know, my knee. You know, I don't want to hurt my knee again. I don't want to go to surgery again. So kind of more, you get older now, think a little bit more about things. You know, when you're young, you know, just jump in. You know, it's a good feeling. You know, winning a competition is an amazing feeling. I don't know if you guys, I don't know the history of guys compete or not, but when you win a competition, it's great. You know, like have 3 matches and beat everybody, win for that. It's a great. You know? But pass quickly. You know, like next week it's gone. No, it's like this jiu-jitsu. You know, you win like tournament today. Next month there's another guy who wins the competition and. You pass. You're the pass. You gotta keep competing to win. But it's great. I think it's a good thing. No, I like a lot. But right now I used to be more concerned about have competitors in my gym, have a competition team. Today less, because also that brings a lot of drama to competitors and bring a lot of drama. No,
what do you mean? What do you mean by
lots of ego? No, and people. You know, it's that I went through a phase of like when I was competing more. I have lots of competitors. Now, if you want to compete to help you out. But I'm not crazy about like to find the next guy who's going to represent me and win the tournament for me. No, I'm not crazy about this anymore. I want to run my business to jiu-jitsu for these guys. You know, and the best competitor I have now is my daughter, and I never expect her to be that good at jiu-jitsu. You know? Just happened. She likes it. She likes to compete. So we train her to that, and she go there and she win things. No, but it's pretty much I have like 2-3 competitors now. My whole gym is like not much. No, not much. I used to have a lot more.
If you don't mind, let me ask you about that relationship with your daughter a little bit. I mean, it has to be really rewarding where you've been on the mat for decades at this point, and you see her growing up, and you see her developing this skill. And you're right next to her. You're watching all this unfold. This has to be really satisfying feeling as a father.
Oh yeah, it is. It is like it's amazing. Yeah, like no, I'm telling you, Vida grew up a girl, like very sweet girl. She was young, never drama, never any problem. She has a little eye patch when she was young, and like a speech problem. And then I said, "Oh, this girl's gonna give a problem maybe later, huh?" And then like and then she become like blossom, like. Going better and better in school, better in grades, And she got 9 years old, and she's a trainer. She's running the mats since she was young, She learned how to walk on the mats, but she never had an interest in the jiu-jitsu. I never pushed her either. When she got 9 years old, I said, do something physically, And she started doing jiu-jitsu, and she see her brother competing, and she started to compete. She competed for some she hated, because she was one of the first competitions and had the kid two weights above her. The 2 weight and age above her, she competes with a massive girl. She pulled guard, the girl smashed. I said, Dad, they're never going to do this again. Okay, don't need to do this again. Forget about it. Just train for self-defense, for physical, train for that. And she said, okay, cool. And she trained. And then she saw her brother doing very well as a teenager. And like years later, like 6 years later, she decided to really compete. And I never pushed her, I never say, you got to do that. No, never. It was natural for her. And she wanted to follow her brother's steps, and she started competing. We lose first match, then win a match. She was like progressive going up, And she just started winning everything, And she got the world champion in 2019. Yeah, and she got a bunch of opens. She got Rio Open this year. She got Dallas Open. She trained off for the Pan American. She's really focused, and I'm impressed about it. She's like a kind of person, like doesn't go out, doesn't drink, doesn't smoke. Like she's like kind of. Like a focus to train. She goes to the gym and she loves what she's doing. She graduated in college. She was psychologist. So she's very focused. I'm blessed, man. Like, I have like it's a gift of the gods. Her for me, And then she go to the gym, compete and train like this. Like for me, it's amazing. It's so entertaining and nerves breaking too because it's hard to coach. I'm more like a fan. Father, like hard to coach her.
Are you more nervous now watching her and your kids, or were you more nervous when you were competing?
I think watching now. Yeah, watching now for sure. No. Because you want to do something like I remember like she competed in Abu Dhabi. She qualified for the she went to Abu Dhabi and competed. She lost there, and I was like so nervous that I tried to say something on the screen on the TV, right? She's good. She's like very determined. She want to compete a lot, and she like what she do. It's natural for her. But something grew with time. She was never a very competitive girl, and she was very sweet. I remember she playing games with her brother. And she always give up. He wins all the time. She never wins, And suddenly she destroy everybody. It's like it's for me it's a surprise. I never expected to be like that.
How often do you guys train together?
Most of the time when I drew like floor, I like to do floor with her. No, she's really good. And she pushed me. I know she's very excited when she see me competing. She likes a lot. When she see me on the mats, she could train. We competed once together. All three was the New York Open. New York Open, like 2015. It was me and my son. Her. We all compete. And me and my son, you got first. She got second. But now she's the only one competing.
Is there a little competition between you three going on? Or?
No, not really. No, between no. But she put some pressure on me. Like she passed the guy. She had the shoulder pressure like she put some pressure. So
that's right.
I looked like a little girl. She put the pressure on my face.
But that's the beautiful part about jiu-jitsu, right? I mean, we come across these individuals who are much smaller than us, or maybe even much bigger than us, and they can introduce these dynamics, these mechanics of manipulating the body where we really feel powerless, regardless of the length or weight or power differences. And that's one of the most beautiful things, at least in my mind.
It's beautiful to see the like how I always am amazed when I see one of my little students and new guy come first class, big and strong, and my old guy, smaller, beat him. It's like such satisfying. Beat him, at least have control, or don't let him control him. Like, no, that's satisfying a lot to see that happen.
Let's go back again. We're gonna kind of flip flop here all the time because I love the historical part. I love hearing the good stories from way back in the day. So you're going through your ranks, and you at which point in your life do you think that this jiu-jitsu thing is gonna be for end of your life, for rest of your life? Like, do you have a point where you say like, no matter what, I'm gonna stick around with this for a long time?
What happened? My profession is a photographer. I studied photography in Italy, and I work in Paris, and I moved to New York as a photographer. I moved to New York as a photographer to play jiu-jitsu, And I reunited with my coach, the Machado brothers in California. Mm-hmm. And that's what happened, the first international competition in 1994, the first Pan American. Yeah. Where the Machado brothers dominated, win the whole thing. And at that point, actually, the Machado have the monopoly of this jiu-jitsu in the United States, and something happened, they lost. Something happened between Dan and the Grace or something. And I competed there, I won there, and I was moved to New York, and my coach he gonna say, Fabio, open something in New York City. Nobody's there. I said, okay, maybe we'll do. I was like, because there's maybe, I don't know. I was like doing for myself, just competing myself to train. And then at a certain point, was the digital revolution started, I learned everything analogic on the cameras and film processing, and then become digital. And I have 2 kids, and I just bought a little loft in Tribeca. So I was like kind of hard on money, and I said, maybe I'm gonna open this gym to make a little extra money, until things pick it up, And I open this, and I invite Higan to a seminar. I put an advertisement in the paper. It was like no internet, no Facebook, nothing at the time.
What year is this?
I talk about 1994.
94, okay.
1994, yeah. I opened, I won the Pan American. then I come to New York and I started advertising the Village Voice magazine, Finnish, famous magazine in New York City. And I put an advertisement about Jiu-Jitsu, and I got about like 100 calls. Then I did also like put in the post lamps. I put like those flyers in the post lamps.
Hanging flyers.
And I got about 100 calls, and 25 people show up for the seminar, for Higan's seminar. I think it was the first or second UFC at the time happened. And this guy come up and he got taught a seminar. And then he said, also, Fabio, going to continue to teach here. And I said, oh, yeah, I'll continue to teach here. I said, I'll try. Okay, I'll continue to teach here. And then I got the numbers for this guy, the phone numbers. And I purchased a couple mats, foldable mats. And I called him. And then I rent like a room inside a fitness gym called the Hardcore Muscular Fitness at 25 Park Place. So it's like by the whole Woolworth building. And I think the tallest building in New York City in 1925. So I rent like a fitness room there 3 times a week, and these people start coming little by little and start paying me. Photography. You do a job, do a picture for a magazine today. They pay you like in 60 days, 90 days sometimes, and then the people start paying me right away. I say, oh, that's good. Huh? I train, I sweat, I do jiu-jitsu, what I like to do. I get paid, so why not? And I start getting a little cash here, a little cash there. It's not people don't even pay much a credit card at the time. It was like more. I feel it was more cash, and then. That's it. It was like a snowball. And then like I was more and more jiu-jitsu, less photography. Then I quit completely photography, started doing videos. I did a lot of instructional videos of jiu-jitsu. One of the first ones probably guys was in the market here in the United States. And then after that, I say no more video, just gonna stick to jiu-jitsu. I was like kind of 5 years after, I opened a gym, I started teaching. 5 years after, really, I say, okay, that's it. You're gonna stick to this. Like no more video, no more photography. You're a jiu-jitsu instructor now. No.
If you look back, way back to the first day or first week, first month of your jiu-jitsu, have you ever envisioned remotely that you would be doing jiu-jitsu for a living?
No. Even the first competition I did in California, like in '94, like the Pan America, I was a brown belt. I never come to my mind about jiu-jitsu. Now I see people like blue belts already dreaming to be instructors. Lots of people. I have experienced with lots of people like as soon as they win a tournament, they have a logo, they have a patch already. Purple belts have like logos, they have lots of stuff like that.
Is that a good or bad thing? I mean, what do you think?
It's sometimes a little premature, no? I think the guys should wait a little bit. Get his black belt, then you see what's going on.
But on the flip side, these guys are dreaming about being a future leader, and maybe they are not ready right now. But do you think that kind of leads them into the path of studying how to be a leader?
I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's not that bad thing, no? Can do that. At least wait until like a brown belt. But,
I agree. I'm not disputing. Yeah. I'm not disputing that part. I mean, there's also this business side, right? Who is going to come and learn from a blue belt?
Well, we talked to somebody recently who said, as long as you're up front and say, "Hey, I'm only a blue belt," or "I'm only a purple belt," and that's as far as I can take you, then it's okay. This is what I can offer you. If you want to stick around, that's great. But if you're looking for more, well, then you got to go. You got to go someplace else.
Right. But there's so many people teaching in the United States right now. So many gyms everywhere. I see it from New York City. Remember, when I opened my first gym here in New York, 1995, it was nobody. People travel like an hour and a half, 2 hours coming train for me. Now there's gyms everywhere. No, there's gyms everywhere. But tell me.
That's also a testimonial how powerful and how known jiu-jitsu is today. I mean, yes. I think every major city has at least one academy, and most of them have dozens. There's so many everywhere.
I'm planning. I'm gonna do this trip, like a jiu-jitsu trip, kind of for fun with my daughter. We're gonna drive to New York City to Anchorage in Alaska. We're gonna drive in the car, like 5,000 miles, and I was like, oh, maybe let's teach jiu-jitsu on the way. So we have like a Pittsburgh, Toledo, a bunch of the Canadian Rocky gyms everywhere. Anchorage, that's 3 or 4 gyms in Anchorage in Alaska. So we'll be driving, knowing the United States better, and having fun, bounding, and teach jiu-jitsu.
When is this happening? That sounds like a phenomenal idea.
It's going to happen this summer. We're planning to do it now. Now is this summer.
That's amazing.
Are you coming to Chicago?
We're gonna pass Chicago. Yeah. We're gonna pass Chicago. Maybe it's have a seminar.
You should stop by. I'm just saying. Now you know two cool guys in Chicago. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Are you gonna?
We're looking for teaching most seminars we can in the road. No.
Are you going to document
we gotta keep going. We need to hit Alaska. No? If you teach too many, we're not gonna get to Alaska.
Yeah. Are you documented this from a film perspective or no?
Or is it just for fun?
We're gonna do a blog. No, Veda's coming with me. Veda's gonna be. She's gonna be the highlight of the trip, but she's the actual champion now. Yeah, she's gonna be doing that. I bring my dog for me too, so it'll be fun.
But that's awesome. How this turns into this vacation, almost a road trip across the country to really embrace this jiu-jitsu.
I always like adventures. Like I drove my motorcycle across country already, and I was thinking about maybe to go one day New York to Rio in car. That's a big plan, like 6 months, and bring back jiu-jitsu to Brazil, like for United States. Man, it's not gonna happen now. It's just like a dream. But this Alaska is happening. Yeah, definitely it's gonna happen.
Well, that's good. Good for you. That's phenomenal.
I'm keeping up my truck now for the trip. No.
Whereas you look at your entire career from the very first day to today, even,
right?
What's the most visible obstacle that you have faced during this entire time, on and off the mat? Like, what do you think that you really had to embrace and work hard on?
It's, people's hard. You just like probably any other business or have competition, backstabbing, things like that. I think difficult disappointment with people sometimes, or you deal like somebody like you dedicate so much to people. Now more takes more time for me to trust somebody. Before you to trust more, and then you get disappointment, like ego and things like this. People betrayed you. People open a gym next to you, or things like that. These things like or you create a world champion who 2 months later decide to leave your gym because you want to train somewhere else. And a guy who never won anything, you make him win a world champion, then he turn it back to you. I think that's the most hard part for me in jiu-jitsu. Making me more sad and more worried about.
Do you think that these things were less existent? They were less visible back then? 20, 30 years ago?
Back then people kick your ass in the street. If you do stuff like this, people just beat the shit out of you. If you do stuff, and I say you can't do that, bro.
You can't do that here in this country, can you?
No, I cannot do this. In my back days in Brazil, if you change gym, people maybe they beat your ass. You can't do that in Brazil. What's a different story? Now, jiu-jitsu is more like everybody train everywhere. I see people, Gracie Barra teach seminars at Checkmat teacher alliance. Everybody learns it for everybody. It's teams, that's a team. If you look deeply now, you see people exchange techniques everywhere.
Well, and they're accessible everywhere, right? I mean, on your phone you can pull everything up. Like it's
and videos and things, but I guess so. But that's the most part is to deal with people like disappointment, ego, and betrayed, things like that. That's the most difficult part for me.
So how do you deal with that? How do you deal with these betrayals or these disappointments?
I gotta delete them and keep going. I can't think much about it. If I think too much, sometimes make me angry, make me sad. So I don't want to hold these feelings on me. So I just try to delete them and keep going forward, and try to scan more people. But sometimes you can't tell what's going on. Sometimes things happen after 15 years, 20 years, 5 years, a month. You never know when it's gonna hit you. Like anything in life, like in a marriage, so you marry somebody, like you have a ring, you love, have kids, then things happen. In a few years from now, we divorce and become worse enemies. They happen in jiu-jitsu, things like that.
Yeah, that's hard. Like dealing with, and we are in the people business. Like we deal with people all the time, and I completely understand what you're saying. Gary, did you want to say something?
No, I think he just touched on a great thing though, is letting it go. We've talked about that quite often, and as you're going through this journey, I mean, I'm going to ask what your proudest achievement was. And I think I know what it's going to be just because we've talked about her so much already.
Right.
But besides that, through this, I mean, it's pretty epic if you think about it. Moving, you've lived all over the world. Then you move to New York. You open the first academy there. Things explode shortly after. What has been like the biggest thing in your eyes that you've accomplished, or what are you most proud of that you've accomplished throughout that whole journey?
I think it's survived for 95 until today, for everything I went through, like for switch associations and, all those problems I have in the past, like, betrayed, people leave the gym, blah, 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 and dramas that happen. It's to survive, it's still in business, and it's still like, being like a profitable business and teach jiu-jitsu and people winning tournaments for my gym too, And right now I don't focus much in the quantity, more on the quality, and I want to select more my students too. Because sometimes you have I don't know if you guys, I have some students that come crazy, to a gym, like they kind of, and the other students don't like that, become like, a little, become annoying by, bother the other students, So sometimes it's hard to like eliminate those students, and just keep it like a healthy group, like who in harmony, or somebody who go there and totally like, change the vibe or the mood or the gym, And that happened before. It happened many times. Man, we come students like have different issues, like I don't know, maybe the way they talk, the way they act, the way they smell, or something. Things like the way they interact with other people. Sometimes one guy affects the whole group, and then you need to clear up, make sure you have this healthy group of people who trust each other and train hard, and yeah.
How do you have these hard conversations? How do you have these hard conversations? How do you tell somebody that they might not be, that this might not be the best place for them? Because that's what it boils down to.
Yeah, you gotta be careful here to what you say to people here, to don't get sued or like something. Usually, like I was more. Now I'm more straight to the point than I was before. I think as you get older, you don't want to waste much time now. No, you would like just say, okay, I don't want to take 2 months to get this guy out of my gym. I'm going to do it. I'm going to talk to you right now. No, I don't know. Depends, though. Every situation was different, But I try to be like more straightforward and like and clear as quickly as possible to don't affect my gym,
Yeah. Yeah,
so far, I've been successful, no problem, no lawsuits or nothing. But sometimes I have those kind of students who go there and like change the whole thing.
Do you think that every instructor is facing that?
Oh yeah, everybody has one of those.
Yeah.
Everybody's at least once in the lifetime, they one of those guys show up at the gym there. Girls should have.
Yes, they do.
I have one girl who was like crazy one day at the gym, like she was like, and then she has a little like nervous breakdown. The gym was kind of hard to control. I think it was the worst, but we did good, and she finally went away, on her way. So sometimes I suggest them to go to train for my competitors. Why not go to that gym? Yeah, better than that. Better than us.
Somebody else's problem at that point.
Right.
That's for somebody else.
Let them deal with it. Yeah. As you're kind of wrapping this up, I want to ask you one more thing. As far as your past is concerned,
Right.
Do you remember how your black belt was rewarded, and as it was coming up to it? It's often being viewed as a very pivotal point in everybody's jiu-jitsu, often being described as a huge achievement, but yet beginning of a brand new journey. And I love to pick everybody's mind on this because there's a very personal experience for everyone who has received it. What was that like in your mind?
I didn't expect to receive the belt. It was in 1996. Even for like when my diploma, the IBJJF said 1997, was 1996, October 1996. So I have like a Jean-Jacques and Carlos Machado come to New York for a seminar, and I won like the Pan American 94, 95. So it's October 96. Even if like my diploma say 97, it was 96, and I have Jean-Jacques and Carlos Machado come for a workshop in my gym here in Manhattan, and they award me like the black belt was a really surprise. For me, I thought it was a little premature, but some people say, "Oh, should wait a little longer." No, I want to compete a little longer as a brown belt. But he gave it to me, and I said, "Okay, he gave it to me." I guess I respect the decision for my instructor, and I took the belt. Yeah. But
what was your feeling
surprise.
like? What was your feeling like?
Oh, it's a good feeling. When you look yourself in the mirror, the black belt looks like, superheroes. I'm the guy. Then that forced me to really because in the beginning I had not many people to train here in New York City, so I do like a quantity for me to get exhausted and start making mistakes and to work things up, or also become a better teacher, because you need to really teaching also is a process for you to learn. So by teaching, you discover things like details like you don't think about it, you do it without thinking about it. So that helped me a lot to to do in this point. And then I was like, then I didn't think about it anymore. Like so many years ago.
So let me ask you now this: how do you feel? What's your feeling like when you are rewarding the black belts?
Yeah, it's a good feeling. Like it's a great feeling to give the belt. Sometimes I'm scared, because sometimes people get the belt, they go crazy, they get the evil push.
What's going on in New York?
They say, when I give the belt, this guy is going to be my black belt, is going to be my competitor. People deserve the belt, they give the belt. That's not that thing. But some guys disappoint, most of the guys not. But it's still there. I don't know how many I have. I don't have the many. Maybe like 20. I got to count again now. 20, 25 black belts, stuff like this.
Well, that's a pretty good number, if you ask me. I mean, yeah.
So some people, like, after they get the belt, they disappear. They never come back to the gym. I have a few guys, like, I have one of my students, he's like Kevin Sheridan. I don't know if you heard him. He's like in New Jersey. He got the black belt, and he's like always invite me there, seminars, and he does seminars in Costa Rica. Very grateful guy. Like, it's good to have him as a some of the guys give the black belt, never see it anymore. Like, completely disappear. I don't know if they still train or they move cities or open the gym. I don't know.
What? So 6 or 7 years from now, the coral belt's coming up. How do you feel that your emotional state's going to be when that comes around?
I wanna see if my body can handle till then. First, it's like make sure my body gonna hold until the coral belt. That's the knee. Also, I just did the eye too. I did the cataract design here. So I've been like trying to fix myself, my body, physical therapy, like hold until the day I got my coral belt. Now I can't wait to. Maybe I want to have the same feeling when I got my black belt. Look at myself in the mirror. Yeah, I have a coral belt. all my friends, like, who introduced me to Jiu Jitsu. Actually, guys, he's gonna give my stripe the 29, the 26. I have a promotion. Hey, you're a coral belt, my friend who introduced me to Jiu Jitsu is coming to give my stripe. And it's funny. There's not many coral belts. There's going to be many soon. There's not many. It's like kind of rare. And I told my students, I come to the promotion to meet a coral belt. Yeah. And meet a coral belt.
Do you think that coral belt today is similar to black belt was 20 years ago? From that prestige perspective?
No, it's just like just something like to motivate a little bit more. Some people, my friends, they didn't compete at all. They're just like, but it's by time, just to give the coral belt by time. If you're active by time, you get the belt. That's all. So it's like, no, you don't need like any, just by you're still alive. Oh, after 21 years, you get your belt.
If you're still moving, you're going to get it.
Still moving, you're still walking. Get your belt.
Oh, listen, Professor, we've been at this for an hour. What a phenomenal conversation we're having right now. But I often say all the good things have to come to the end. But before we wrap this up, we have this new thing that we actually was not so new anymore, because we've been doing this for
since the first of the year,
since the beginning of the year, so 3 months. But somebody who was sitting in your seat as a guest in the previous episode asked a question without knowing that you will be the one answering it. So we have that question for you. Gary's going to take a lead on this, but we would appreciate you candid answer on that question. It's very fitting to your story is.
I think so. And also fitting as it comes from Fabio Clemente, who asks, during your career, what was your family's role, and were they supportive of all the challenges and your lifestyle?
My family was not involved at all. My family was just a single solo, like you walk into the mat to compete on the jiu-jitsu. Huh? My family was not, didn't. I was alone here in New York City. You know, it was just me and my kids not here. So I just did, and my father supported me also a little bit. He wanted me to maybe go back to study. You know, but it was not. No, it was very simple. It was like just me and my decisions. No.
Was that scary? Let me ask you flat out. Was that scary being in a foreign country completely by yourself as a first jiu-jitsu academy?
I was in a foreign country before. I was in Italy before. Came here. Then I was in France before I came here. No, so I have a little more experience in being like away. No, I have these 2 little kids. I have like my Satan Vida babies. No, that's my motivation. No? And I thought it was a great thing to teach jiu-jitsu and have my kids on the mat for me all the time, run around, and you know. That's it. My motivation was the kids, and the opportunity. I was start teaching jiu-jitsu on the right time. There was nobody around me, so it's perfect. Like you go find a gold, like and you're the only one getting the gold on the river, you know. It was just me here at the time, but not many people know what's jiu-jitsu. That's the other problem, no?
Well, that's phenomenal.
Yeah,
I love it because I was not born in U.S. I came here as a young boy too, so I know some of the struggles that come through with migrating and being by yourself and so on. So I do appreciate your story.
I have some different. It was a different path. It was not that easy in the beginning of jiu-jitsu. So it was like some days I was going there, I was like nobody there to teach class. And I was like, okay, maybe it's going to work or not. It took me a little time, until things pick it up,
Has it ever crossed your mind to quit? Has it ever crossed your mind like this is not for me? I'm not going to do this. There are a million other jobs that I could be doing that could be more successful.
Yeah, best. But I said, try another week, try another month, always I'm a little bit more. My father invited, come back to Brazil, and I said, no, I'm gonna try a little bit more here, and then it's persistent,
persistence or addictive, right?
One or the other. They always work out in a very interesting way.
Did we lose him again?
Support to afford the gym, because the gym in New York City is not cheap, between insurance and taxes and this and that. You need to have a certain amount of students to support yourself, no?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, just like any other business. I mean, often jiu-jitsu is being viewed as hobby, but the room has to get paid. The lights needs to stay on, and obviously the instructors have to be compensated. So it's
hobby, maybe not the country, nor United States.
Well, I agree. I agree 100%. Hey, listen, I know, I believe you. Listen, Professor, thank you for being here. Your story is quite inspiring, in my opinion, and thank you for sharing, all the wisdom, all the beautiful stories that you have shared with us in the past hour. And when is your tour road trip starting? When is it? Do you have a specific dates on that, or?
I got there's a magazine called Milepost. It's a magazine we give. It's a trip planner. It's for Alaska. They give you all the details of Alaska. Come in the mail this month, end of this month. And then I'm going to plan my trip. The idea is to leave like the beginning of August. So we're going to travel the whole August. We're going to be traveling.
Beautiful.
We'll be looking forward to it.
All right. Well, let's wrap this up for today. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for sharing all the beautiful stories.
Canada Rock, you there?
Yeah, we're still here.
We're still here.
Canada Rock is in Alaska. Then you go back to Seattle and come to the middle, maybe to the center of the United States, back to New York. You're going to do a loop.
A huge loop.
Probably like 10,000, 12,000 miles.
Wow. Okay, so that's a
a month and a half, maybe. I'm gonna drive a lot. There's a plan to drive.
Yeah. That sounds like a beautiful
I rode my motorcycle in 4 days. I was in the glaciers in Missoula, Montana, with my motorcycle. I was doing like 700 miles a day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for you. It sounds like you on a road. I mean, that's essentially what's going to be.
And my daughter not only like jiu-jitsu, like to drive too. So she's a good driver. So it'll be me or her sharing the wheel.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's wrap this up for today. Thanks for being here once again. Thanks for sharing all the beautiful stories and part of your journey. And thank you for your time for talking to us. If you are coming through Chicago, please Feel free
No,
to
as soon
let
as
us
I have
know.
my schedule, I'm gonna let you guys know. No, I'm gonna put like a blog or something out the schedule. See if I can some other gyms look and decide to host us. We want to be like betrayed, maybe like shelter, food and gas for jiu-jitsu.
Hey, listen,
We'll be like,
barter
no,
system.
we don't look to make a big one. Just don't look to not spend too much money in the street.
Well, we would love to meet you in person, and if that's an opportunity, we can definitely reconnect on that.
Definitely let you know when the time arrives. Okay.
All
yes,
right.
for sure. Thank you so
Sounds
much.
good.
Good luck with the physical therapy and getting
you
back
very much.
on the mats. We look forward to it. We really hope we can see you.
All right.
Okay.
Let's
Thank
wrap
you.
it up.
All right. Thank you. Peace.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Thank you for listening to RŌL Radio. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to leave us a review and help us make the show even more amazing. For future episodes, check out our website and follow us on all major podcast platforms. Take care.